Welcome to the Sk8LikeYou podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, it's Mark from Sk8LikeYou podcast here with MadHatter, DJ MadHatter, Shawn, Oraschin. We're at Whitehall Sk8Away for what is this, Wacky Wednesday?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So, and that starts, what's the session time?
From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Wednesday.
Right. So if you guys are ever around the Lehigh Valley, Whitehall area, Allentown area, basically, make sure you check out Whitehall. Check them out on Facebook. Check out MadHatter, Shawn Oraschin on Facebook. See where he's at. Now, you don't just do Whitehall Sk8Away. Where are the other rinks you're DJing?
I go all over the place. I mean, Whitehall, we're in the I say the center of all the rinks. Really, it's real. I'm an hour and 15 minutes from Philly. I'm an hour and 15 from Wilkes-Barre. I'm about 2 hours from Skate 47. That's my farthest
Everybody
rink.
is.
Yeah. Overlook is probably, I don't know, 2 hours from here. But I don't really venture. I don't really DJ out there. It's mostly just that little circle of rinks. I've got an opportunity to do my thing.
Cool. So yeah, Wednesdays are cool. Are a cool night here, man. It's what I like about it is everybody knows OG Skate Crew does Wednesdays in Philly.
Yep.
OG Smooth is going to be here tonight, actually.
Awesome.
But I like coming out here because for me, I mean, Philly is like a haul, dude. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's like a 3-hour round trip.
I'm sure.
And
with the
that's
traffic.
Yeah. Well, no, that's clean. That's clean, and it's a late skate. 3-hour round trip is crazy tolls because if I don't take the Pike, it's 5 hours round trip. But I like coming here on a Wednesday. Like, I've been trying to secretly get everybody to come here. No offense to anybody, whatever. But because it's nice to so the Wednesday night session that we go to in Philly starts at 9.
I know.
This one ends at 9.
I never understood why they do adult nights
Wednesday.
on 9 and midnight. And yet most adults really have to go to work the next morning.
So
I don't know how to do that.
I think it's 9 to 1.
Oh, 9 to 1.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah. So but it's nice to so it's 5 after 9, right? And I'm driving home and I'm like, dude, I would only start skating right now and I would have a way longer drive.
Yeah.
I'm home by 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's nice. And I love this floor. I love the vibe. I love when you're here.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, if you ever come out, Whitehall.
Yeah, Wednesdays have been, pretty good session. Everyone come here for that midweek, get those midweek things out of your system and get you through the rest of the week.
Yeah, especially if you're feeding for a roll.
Yeah, we have a different, every night here seems to have a different crowd. Sometimes Wednesday nights you have a different, nice, diverse crowd. So yeah. I love it. I love coming here on Wednesday nights.
And this is also one of the main rinks in the Lehigh Valley area. Well, of the 3 Sk8Aways, right? Because you have Wilkes-Barre, Whitehall, and Bethlehem, and
Reading.
Yep. Yeah, but they don't really participate in the late skate stuff.
No.
Right. So of the 3 kind of Lehigh Valley, or not, Wilkes-Barre is not Lehigh Valley, of the 3 Sk8Aways that do the late skates, that whole season's starting up right now, right?
Yeah, we're starting up. We're starting ours here in October, October 12th. I was supposed to do that one, but I'm going to Colorado for a Broncos game, so I had to change my schedule around. I'm taking my son out for a football game and a hockey game on a Monday night. So I had Jace and Connor jump in for me to take care of business for that weekend.
So DJ Champs, DJ Hops.
DJ Hops is going to be setting the late skate off, and we're doing a pink out. Our second annual pink out is for the cancer awareness for breast cancer.
Nice.
It's $12 admission, and every $2 from every admission, we're going to donate to the Breast Awareness Cancer Society.
Okay.
So we're doing that for that. I did that last year to do something different.
Yeah.
But this year I'm trying to push it where, the $2, we're going to give $2 for every admission.
Respect.
And getting people to wear pink to show the support for the ladies out there fighting their fight.
Yeah. All right.
Everyone has someone that's fighting some type of cancer.
I mean, it seems like it nowadays.
It's crazy. But yeah, just to show the skating community is a strong clique of people. As you've seen on your podcast, you go places, people are real tight and stuff. And any way that we can show support, you know,
Nice.
even if we raise $100, it's something, and we're trying to do something. So that's what I'm trying to do, my little part of.
Yeah, man. I mean,
throwing it back.
And like you said, like, you know, even if you raise $100, you know, the fact that you raise awareness, you put eyes on it, you know what I mean? You give it attention, like that's, you know, that's just as important in a lot of ways. Yep. Nice, man. So yeah, so the late skate stuff's going to start up here again. And you know, what's kind of cool about this too, is like the reason I like coming here and the other skateaways is because, like, you know, taking a break from Philly, like, and I love Philly. I love going out there, but there is a different vibe here. Like you find more of like the kind of the old school kind of like shuffle crowd here, right? Like I always tell people, for those of you guys that never skated PA or kind of any state that had like a long-term history of shuffle skating, the Oregon music was big.
It was big out here. It was big here.
Big in this area, right?
It was big here. Yeah.
And now, look, I mean, it's funny. So, you saw the article that came out, Philadelphia Inquirer?
Yep.
It was hilarious because the only thing, I talked to Sabrina, the reporter there, and because she followed up with me, she's like, "Hey, how'd you like that?" And I was like, "Oh, it was awesome. It was amazing." You know, and she's like, "Okay, was there anything that, like, you know?" I was like, "Well," and I'm like, so you had mentioned that I had to get used to coming to Philly to kind of skate that kind of vibe because I was used to skating like small Oregon rinks, right? And I said, honestly, it's just hilarious because anyone that knows me is going to read that and be like, no. So anyone that knows me is reading that and being like, okay, they got that wrong, right? Because I don't pull any punches about the fact that I can't get down to Oregon music at all.
I can't.
And look, and it's not I didn't grow up on it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So like, that's all it is. I'm sure if I grew up on it, it'd be a whole different thing. I respect it. Like the same way I go out to Fantasy in Reading on a Tuesday, they do like an 80s night. But before that, they have like artistic figure skating like practice. And I'll show up just to watch.
It's great.
You know what I mean? Like I have no inclination to try it, right?
Come on.
No. But so my point is I respect it. But anyway, there is this DNA of that style of shuffle skating that you see among people, Greg Fuller's, the Trafkas, who else?
Like, I think like
the kids
that they learn by them. It's like they always say like the Oregon music taught the kids the beat. You get that?
Oh yeah.
The Oregon beat's got that beat, so you get your feet and your body moving to it. If I hear one song, like I don't know if I would rather listen to an Oregon song or a Double Dutch Bust. I don't know. I think I'd take Oregon.
Okay, so here's the translation. What Shawn is, I'll say it. Maybe you probably don't mean this, but this is how I interpret that whole thing because I've heard that too. Is that because there is a definitive beat
to Oregon music,
and it's all the same, right? Yeah. It's funny, man. Like you can go and there are organists, and they're great, they're talented, and like they're playing like current pop hits on an organ. It's insane, right? Yeah. But what I find is that not only is it a good training mechanism for kids, also the rhythmless of nature, right? Like it. Not to say that all those people are. I'm saying though, if you have a thing, if finding the rhythm is not your strong suit, that is kind of like, it's like my first. You're going off some type of beat. Yeah. Well, it's very apparent in it.
Yes.
Like you can't miss it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, but oh man, let's talk about that though. Let's jump back to this because you get to DJ for these young kids all the time. What is that like watching these guys? Like, first off, who do you think is responsible for really passing it on around here to these young kids? That style that all these kids are running around here with, the synchronized, like Greg Fuller is who I'm talking. Greg Fuller,
definitely. All they're doing are the spins and all the the clapping, like when you're skating in a shuffle line and they're like, it's like toe tapping.
Man, they tap dance like while they're moving.
Like, yeah. I think
Greg Fuller. Shout out to Greg Fuller. He is like the most humble dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I have to do this because I'm here and it just makes me think of that. Anytime I come into this place, I think of the style that I see here among shuffle people. And then I watch these kids, and not all of them are kids now, you know, I don't want to, but, But yeah, oh my god.
I remember Greg when I first here with he was the infamous with the mohawk.
Yeah,
like
man.
He would like the
before
mohawk,
Ray.
like
before
Ray.
Ray.
He looked like he could be on the what's that show, like the Road Warrior, like the Road Warriors. Like
Mad Max.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
Like you should. That's what he looks like coming here. He's skating with that purple mohawk, or one week it'd be this color, and that thing would be like way up here. I'm like that took a long time to get that hair right.
He's such a cool guy.
He wore it in style, man. He wore it in style.
Oh, dude, and he is funky. He's funky, but he's so like him and like Pete
so
Traffic.
Smooth.
Yeah, he's smooth, but
crazy.
Like Traffic is like that too, like where he's got his own funk.
Pete. I love Pete.
Nicest guy you're ever gonna meet.
Pete's awesome. I love Pete. Pete's one of my biggest supporters as well.
He's nice on skates. He's nice in person. Yeah,
awesome.
But like Greg's so cool, man, because as I continue to venture around, we see each other more now, and he, the last time I saw him too, he's like, you gotta start coming with us, man. We gotta get you in this line, And I keep telling him, I gotta get a different plate, dude. It won't.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be able to jump like this. Like
all these kids got the Snyder big plates, and jumping up and down, like all that kind of stuff. You can't do that with a laser or a libido, what you call it. I tell my daughter all the time, like, that's not made for that kind of stuff.
No. So now you had mentioned, so before we get into the DJ thing though, like first, I mean, so obviously skating was first for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the question I'm going to ask?
I know everybody. I've seen all the things. How'd you get? When you
do you remember the first time you had skates on?
I'm gonna say not the first time I can remember skating coming into my life was not until I was probably like in 7th grade. I don't remember, like I see all these people. Oh yeah, I remember when I was 6 years old, and not me. I don't remember anything.
So you weren't skating regularly prior to that. Okay.
No. Probably when I was in my 7th grade, my parents got divorced. My dad was the over-the-road trucker. Got custody of me, my brother, and my sister. We lived with my grandmother, which she lived maybe 15 minutes from Frenchtown roller rink.
Okay.
So that's
where is that?
Frenchtown is right over the Delaware River. It's probably about 40 minutes from here, south. You should probably check that place out. Go to Frenchtown.
I'm gonna. Here, let's pause 1 second. I want to get a drink.
Frenchtown is in Hunterdon County, right over, I would say on the other side of the Delaware River, Bucks County, on the top side of like Bucks County.
Okay, that's where your grandmother is, and you're there.
Yeah, I was. That's where I grew. That's where I lived. And then my family was like a part of like skating already. Like my cousins, aunts, they were kind of involved. They were skating at the rink, and somehow jumped in the car with them and went skating. So like around 87 or 88, when I was like 12 years old, that's when I remember putting my first skates on.
Nice. Do you remember it being like significant? Like, oh, I really love this, or like, no, or
I don't have any kind of like memories like that. But I mean, the more I was going down there, I was going down more.
Mm-hmm.
Got more involved in it, joined the speed team.
Okay.
Joined the speed team down there.
Everybody I'm talking to, man.
Yeah.
Came like basically like from
I started like probably skating probably like 88, 89. I started skating, and then I actually am a NARSA national champion, 92 and 93 national roller skating champion.
Wow. Okay, so where did that okay, when you won the championship, where did that take place?
One was in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Okay.
With that rink is still there. That rink is still there. Hagerstown.
Okay. And what age is this?
92. So I was probably.
You're a teenager.
I was a teenager, probably 15, like
okay.
15, 16 years old.
Okay.
17, going into my junior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah, 90. I was a back-to-back 91, 92 NARSA on quads. Speed skating champion.
Now, that's cool, because a lot of people most of the people I'm talking to were mainly inline. They did, some people did quad stuff, but like but their kind of focus or the majority of what they did was inline. So okay, so you were strictly quad?
Yeah, like I probably the inlines were just like my head coach had them. He had them. They were with the 5 wheels. They weren't the everyone knows like how they came out, like the 5 wheels on the frame. He would brought them to practice and he was skating on them. Like before that really probably got like, the quads really went away more. They pushed it more towards the inlines.
Okay. So you're 15 and you see you're 14, 15, you see your coach come in with inlines. What's your first thought?
Like, what the heck are those things?
but was it like, oh, that's cool? Like
they were cool. They were pretty cool. It's something seen differently. And they were pretty fast. But when you're 15, cocky, I can beat you on my 4. You can have 10 wheels. I'll beat you on 8. I'll beat you on 8.
It's hard to race somebody on inlines.
Now it is. Now it's nothing compares like how like Michelle was saying, how speed skating on quads is totally different than inlines, because your body on quads, you turn your shoulders. On inlines, you have to be on your ankles. It destroys. To me, I've got bad ankles from football. All kinds of stuff. It just did a number on my ankles.
I would think, and I asked this to Michelle too, and I'm trying to remember. I think she was like, "No, this is that you're right about this," because I would think that it would be more stressful on your knees and your ankles on quads, because with the grip of like the necessary grip of a quad and how that torque is, you know what I mean, especially turning and stuff, is got to be way more prevalent than in
oh
line.
yeah. On inlines it's more of like you're on a thin line. You're bent over. But I love skating. Got involved in the speed team. Like I said, my whole family was on the speed team. I had cousins, uncles, my brother, my sister.
So you're like my
father was.
You're like a pedigree.
Yeah.
Of that's crazy. I did not know this. See, this is why I do this, Pete. This is why I do this.
Yeah. I loved it. Like some of the wheels that would first come out, my head coach would say, "Hey, Shawn, no one's got these. Put these on for practice and skate." When I was probably one of the first ones on our speed team to skate on the OG, Cannibals, Wicked Lips, the Interceptors.
You were like the crash test dummy for your team. That's a big responsibility though.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have to be able to like relay, like he's relying on you to be like yay or nay. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah.
Nice.
But we loved it. We would, back in that time frame, we would skate down in Hagerstown. Me and my buddy Johnny Ristine, that was still a lifetime friend. I met him years ago. We'll get through that story again, how we came and crossed paths again. But I raced against him when I was 12, 13 years old. So I raced against him and his family and stuff when we were younger. And then we crossed paths, and we're still involved here at this rink here today. We can get into that, but
who is that? Who's the lady that manages? Mindy. We were talking. Yes, she had mentioned him. Because he was big time too, right? He was
being back in the 91, 92.
Yeah,
me and Johnny were.
You guys were
the ones.
But it was like a rivalry kind of thing.
Yeah,
not in a bad way.
No, it was a good rivalry.
Competitive.
Yes. Oh yeah. We would hate each other and beat the crap out of each other in every single race. But as soon as the race was over, we're high-fiving. We had our hands around each other, joking. But once we put our hands on that starting line,
right, no love lost.
Oh shit, it's gonna get real. Sorry.
Sorry. So I was just talking to Corey Gower. I just talked to Ben Sewell. His thing's going to drop. The guys from now Bont Skate Crew, Shuffle Crew.
Yep.
Congratulations, those guys. Shout out to Southeast Skate Crew. And they were saying the same thing though. You know what I mean? Like they a competitive mentality, which you have to have, right? Like you don't. People train like. Obviously, because people, I'm sure whatever you're training for, you probably enjoy doing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Especially from a physical thing, a sport thing, an athletic thing. But you know, you train not just to be good. You train to compete. You train to win, right? So like there is that competitive thing, but like they were saying too, when it's all said and done, it's all love, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all right. So okay. So when did you get out of speed skating, man?
Probably. It wasn't too far after. Something happened. Like there was like a coaching change happened at my speed team, and it just ruined it for me.
Okay.
It just like it wasn't like
the
it
96,
wasn't fun.
96, 97 Bulls, like kind of like Phil Jackson's not going to be here.
Came in and just changed everything around.
Okay.
I didn't like it, and I kind of like said, I'm not. This is not the way I'm going to do it. Maybe that's just a bad part of my side, because when you feel like when you're good, and someone else comes in and tries to, to stir the pond a little bit, and at first you're not really open to change. Which now, I mean, I would probably do it. Have a different view on stuff. I tell my kids all the time, just because you don't like a teacher in class, I mean, you don't go to class. You got to go there. You got to figure out how to get through it.
Yeah,
and do it.
Yeah. Do you know how did they have continued success, or?
Yeah, I think they did. I mean, it was just weird. Like that's all I can remember was a bad thing, and I almost like dropped. I walked away. You
just checked out mentally.
I checked out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fair. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, so now here's what I love about like. And I was thinking about this when I was talking to Jen, I was talking to Michelle, other speed skaters, talking to Ray, who I didn't know that was his first. I knew he got into. I knew he was into speed skating at some point. I didn't know that's like how he started, right? Mm-hmm. But the theme that I find throughout, and this is not the same. Like, trust me, I was never like a high level athlete in anything. I mean, I'm good at roller skating, but I knew high-level athletes in high school and stuff like that, trained and, were planning to go to college and all that kind of stuff, had scholarships. And skating is like the only thing I know. Like when I talk to former speed skaters, that like, it wasn't like a thing where,
it wasn't a cool thing. Like back then, like when I was doing like, I would probably get like, tea, like, it would almost be like, oh, you skate? Like, that's what I mean. Like, you were spandex, like that type of thing.
Well, no.
That
I mean,
type of thing.
There is that, but really, where I'm going with this is that, so like, when someone's training specifically to, let's say, run whatever meter or whatever, right? Like, there's such an intense focus on it that like coaches are like, you can't do this, you can't do that, like these other types of things. And inline or speed skating is the only thing where like I saw that skaters that did speed skating, they still went to the rink on Fridays, Saturday nights, and got down, right? Like it was never discouraged. Like, this is going to interrupt your training, or this is going to affect your whatever, like your mechanics, or what I'm saying, all that kind of stuff, right? But I can't think of another sport where people train at a high level, but they also go and they do like this freestyle version of it too, and it's okay. Okay. Coaches aren't like, does that make sense? Yeah. Do you see?
We had a cool thing. Frenchtown used to do a thing where, like, how they do the specials, they do like a couples, and like they would like in the middle of the session they would do like a fast skate. So there was time for all the people on the speed team to show off, and for the girls and all that kind of stuff. So the girls would go out and do their race, and the guys would go out there in their big pack and fly around the track and show how fast we are. We got there, barking the wheels and all that kind of stuff, and showing off. So that was a good time.
And then ask for a couple skate after. Yeah, like I'm the guy that.
Oh yeah, look at that guy. He's cool. He's cool.
You probably don't recognize me because I was moving too fast.
Hey, I met my wife. I met my wife at that rink.
Oh, there you go. My wife there you go. So, but yeah. So okay. So like, you were skating like regularly, like sessions from like starting at what age?
Every set. Probably. Like I said, I was 11, 12. I was like, I moved in with my grandmother probably in the middle transition between my 7th and 8th grade. So I was at the rink, Friday, Saturday, Sundays. I was shooting a duck, and Sundays you had the races. So you're trying to win a slush puppy, what you call it. So they would do that. So we were there. I was there every session.
Yeah,
I was there every session.
Same.
No matter what it was, 1 to 4, 7 to 10. What you call it. That's the only really thing that was really around besides a bowling alley, and I wasn't really into bowling.
Okay.
But my grandmother was. We would go there and hang out with her on Thursday nights when she did her little senior, her little club. But skating was our thing.
Man, so my mom, for some reason, I don't know, but she got involved. Probably around the age that I am now. With other women in like this bowling league, and I would have to like go to Bowlerama. I think it was like a Tuesday night. Like now, thankfully they had like this TV room, and I think it was Tuesdays because Roseanne was always on.
Roseanne.
When I was, that's how far back I'm talking. Okay, so like. Man, but I remember that being like, oh god, this is the worst. That and like,
I would just go there and play the video games.
Well, so do you remember remember the game Rolling Thunder, and it had like the real skinny dude, like like that was like off road, the 4. Oh, that was a great game.
I think that my game was like this. I like playing the Spy Hunter. The
the
oil
car.
slick, the car and the oil slick.
You had to get in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
So hey, what were the? Did you have arcade games at your rink?
Yeah.
What were like? Okay, so like. I'm talking not when you left the rink, but like, you know what I mean? Like, what were like the games that were there? Did you have a lot? Because we only had a few.
Yeah, we had a lot. There's a whole area back there was all full games. That was like they call it the make out area.
Oh, okay.
Go back there and find a little dark spot. But we had games. Of course, Pac-Man. All those kind of pinball machines and all that kind of stuff, and RC Pro-Am,
which is basically off road with like, but they're supposed to be like remote control cars.
Yeah, Asteroid.
Yeah. So the game that never went away at my rink, like they had replaced them. By the time I was like in my teens, like I think Mortal Kombat 2 was there, but like pole position was there from when I was 6, till like the end of it. At the end of it, That's awesome. But okay, cool. So like now, was there a point where you step away from skating at all?
Yeah, graduate high school, go to college.
Yeah.
Kind of move out of my grandparents and on my own a little bit. So working, going to college. Working. All that kind of stuff, girlfriend, all that kind of stuff, and I never really. It's kind of weird. To me, that's like a gap. Like I would like to go back and like if you like go back in time, like if you could, what happened there?
If you could Marty McFly
it, what really like happened? That
it feels like a separate life, right? Because I stepped away. Same thing. I left my home state. And everything, and so like that was, I think that made it a little easier for it to kind of get disconnected because, like, I went somewhere where I knew nobody. So if you know nobody, then you definitely don't know anyone that skates, right? Mm-hmm. Like because most people you do meet don't skate, and so it just fell out of my vision to a degree. So I understand what you're saying. So, okay. So when does the spark hit, or when do you find yourself back in
at
this
a roll,
world?
at a roller rink? The first time back would be when my son was about 6 years old. We had a birthday party.
Oh, okay.
So he won the roller skating party.
Okay.
So we were we went to Bushkill roller rink, which is a little,
podunk,
right there in our local town there. And he won the skating party. And that's how that was my first time back on skates since probably when I walked away.
Were you on rentals when you came back?
Yeah.
You had to get a pair of rentals. So
like the speed, not the brownies. I went, I had to pay the extra $1 for the, you gotta kind of look cool.
Wait, so were they quads?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
so
the speed ski, like
the RS 1000.
Yeah.
Thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Not every rink has that at all.
No.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but like the rink I grew up in, even people that had skates, the skaters, nobody had speed skates.
Mm-hmm.
It was all JV boots.
Yeah.
Okay, so is the bug there immediately? Like, does it reinvigorated like from the birthday party? Or?
Yeah, it was fun. You know, brought back a lot of good memories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like that session, that party, we actually announced that my wife was pregnant with our second one.
Oh wow!
So my daughter ended up having her 5th or 6th birthday party at Bethlehem.
Okay,
and that's where it really
started.
That's where it really started.
Okay, so
that's where it really jump started from there.
Okay, so you had like this kind of
one-off thing, like a one-off
right.
thing. Oh, it felt great to put on skates. Hey, look at me, I can still do it.
Yeah.
Tell the wife, say, I can still do it. I can still do it. Yeah.
Catching all the attention at the kid's birthday party.
Yeah. Look at that weird dad over there. He can skate, like, that kind of stuff.
Look at the guy showing up all the 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
I've been there, dude. I've been there. It reminds me of that. Who's the comedian that does that one joke where Tony? You know what I mean? Like the have you seen that?
No.
Okay, I'm going to tell you about this afterwards. They say Tony, and it's the funniest thing ever. So anyway, okay, so you go to Bethlehem.
Yep.
And that you can really clearly say.
I can. That's where it all
the bug
from that birthday party till now. Yes.
You have and okay. So what year is that?
So my daughter was born in 2007, so it had to be 2013. It had to be right around 2013.
Okay.
2013, like about 2013, probably. That was when she won the birthday party. Again, I was out there. My wife just had like either neck surgery or back surgery, so she couldn't skate. So I was out there with my daughter on skates and all that kind of stuff. And like after the session, I asked the floor guards, "Hey, do you mind at the end of the session? Do you mind if I go out there and just go out there and rip some laps?" And again, I'm in the rental skates, the speed skates. I'm out there just flying around.
Huh.
And he approaches me. Hey, he's like, you ever skate before? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, told him, and I happened to. He's like, oh,
no, I'm just a Rain Man with roller skates.
And he happened to say, he's like, oh, John Ristine has a team up here at Whitehall. I'm like, who? What did you just say? He's like, John Ristine.
This is the guy who used
to skate. I'm like, he's like, I'm gonna reach out to him. I was like, listen, if John Ristine doesn't remember me, I'm gonna be very offended. And this guy Bill reached out to Johnny, and he's like, it's gotta be. He was telling his wife, he's like, it's gotta be Shawn. It's gotta be Shawn. What's called? So
that's great.
I wasn't on Facebook at the time. I didn't have any kind of like social media.
Right.
My brother was on Facebook. So I guess Johnny reached out to my brother, got my number. Johnny called me, and I tell you one thing: me and Johnny talked on the phone like we never were separated.
Right.
It was so like when I hung up the phone, I'm like, that was Johnny Ristine. I was talking like that was so like I had to sit there. I'm like, oh my god! It's like, how
long was the conversation?
It had to be. It was like almost like an hour. It felt like it was like an hour and a half. We were just talking.
That's crazy, right?
And he's like, oh, come up here if you're interested in speed skating. Came up here.
Because he's been out of sight, out of mind for how many years?
Yeah, I mean that's going on 20. You figure that was 2013, so 95. That's almost that's a long time.
Yeah, man.
Off the top of my head, it's a long time, and
it's a super long time.
As soon as I heard his name,
it's like half your life at that point.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah.
Wow. I had the same thing with this kid Adam. Who has been in the Air Force, Adam's always been like super high achieving, super kid. Like we grew up in the same neighborhood, but we skated. We were on the drill team together, but he's been all over the world now, Air Force. And he saw like me on social media kind of get back into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know, and then he is just like, he's back in the States. So at some point we're going to get together soon. Adam.
That's awesome.
Right. We got to get, but he like went out and man, dude, he dropped a bunch on some skates, right? Like, you know, but he's doing it. Like he's got to skate like he's Japan and like all these places,
That's awesome.
But he's alone.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
It's just crazy. Like how you fear, like how you're like, you're in the right place at the right place at the right time. And you connect it and it connects the dots. Like,
yeah,
I said, when I heard that, I was like, it just like almost like picked me up. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, you know, and then ever since that day I walked in that door, I've been here since, you know, we started coming back here interested in, oh yeah, you know, Johnny's inlines, and here we go, putting on inlines and involved in the speed team, you know, getting involved in the speed team again.
Yeah.
Myself, my daughter, my son, we all skated on the speed team here for years.
Well, so now it's dawning on me. I remember at some point I stalked your Facebook page or something. I think I was looking, I was looking for like trying to figure out if you had a flyer or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out where to go or something like that, like that night. And now I remember there's a picture of you, and I didn't remember it till this moment, right? Because as we're talking, I'm like, oh, wait, you're a speed skater. But now I remember there's a picture of you. I think you have glasses on, like. But I think it's like a blue and white kind of thing, and I think you either just got
maybe, yeah, it's probably like
you
maybe
just finished,
yeah,
you're doing that thing where you're just coasting, kind of
kind
of, you know, just trying to, you know, catch yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. This is one of the reasons I do this, because as you're talking about this, you're talking about the catching the bug thing. Mm-hmm. One of the things I love about doing this is that it like jars these things. Well, like the
memories
that I remember about me when because like you, at some point in that gap, I did go skating like once or twice. Once with like work thing, right? Which is always funny because people from work are like watching you, like, what is that? You know, how'd that happen, right?
Yeah,
kind of thing. But I remember when I like decided I was going to go back, right? Like I decided. And I remember, now I'm thinking about it, and I remember the first kind of times coming back where I would go like on a Friday night, right? And I'd only think I'm going to go Friday.
And you go Saturday.
And then
Sunday.
like that feel, but you know what I'm talking about? Like Saturday, it's like afternoon or something like that. And the thought pops in your head, and it's like, I want to go back. I want to go tonight. I don't want to wait till next week. I want to, and I remember that. And I remember remembering that from when I was younger. You know what I mean? Like that thing, like that like I'm excited. Like you're excited, you know, especially when you're a kid, because you can't just go whenever you want, right? I mean, we did.
I mean, I had to wait until we're all going,
right?
So, oh, you're going Friday.
You need a ride.
Friday.
You gotta, like all that stuff, right? So
if I could have rode my bike, I would have rode my bike, but that's way too far.
Right,
way too far.
But I don't know. So it just was hitting me as you're talking about it, and just like that feeling, because I don't know about you, but I've definitely had times now, especially skating now that I'm older, where it's like, I'm probably going to do one time this weekend because I don't want to completely wear myself out. But then the next night comes and I can't not go.
That's like me DJing anymore. And
like,
oh, I got the night off. Like somebody, I got Friday off. Hey, you need someone to come up and DJ? Oh yeah, come on. And I'll be up there, you know, DJing now. But
so did you? Okay, so you got back into skating, and you said what, 2015?
Yeah, 2000. It was probably around like 2013, 2014, because I think that year it was unbelievable. Like we come back, I think it was May, because my daughter's birthday party was in January. I think it was by like, I think I was talking to Johnny. I think they were doing a race somewhere in like Virginia or something like that.
Okay.
So they wait for them to come back for that. So it was like probably like February, March. I think we made arrangements to come up and see him and rekindle some stuff, and we put on the skates. And I think in 2 months I was skating at an event to qualify for nationals, and that freaking. Not even 3 months back on skates, they had me lugging me and my daughter out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, because she qualified for nationals out there. And we went to nationals. Like, John's like, "Oh, you're going to Mexico?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, you are." I did.
Do you remember those moments that you'd have too when you got back into it, where it like hits you all of a sudden, where you're like where you realize like there's this muscle memory that is like automatic almost, like that just comes back? Like, did you ever?
Yeah, and the bad ones too, because
Right.
you know, you can talk to the coaches here. They would always yell at me, "You're not skating on quad, Shawn. You got to stop turning your shoulders." You know, because
so these old habit, like even the things that you're trying not to do, that you're trying to do something different,
just automatically just do it.
It's crazy.
I would be bad with turning my shoulders, because they say quads, it's a whole different thing.
You're trying to compensate for the torque.
Yeah. More turning your shoulders when you're going to corner, and like when you're going inlines, you're down and
like a motorcycle.
You have to stay nice and square and motion. And some people have some weird forms, but they get it done. But I mean,
okay, so all right, so that's the time frame that you come back, you stay back.
Yep.
So now, like when not DJing rinks, but like when did you just like get into DJing in general?
DJing in general was probably, I'm gonna say, like 2017, 2018, I think, because I had shoulder surgery.
Okay.
I had to get my rotator cuff worked on.
Skating injury or no?
Nope,
okay.
Just work. You
okay.
know, I work in a warehouse, so lifting and all that kind of stuff, and sports and all that kind of stuff, and had arthritis real bad, so I had to get it fixed. I couldn't even roll out of bed. It was so bad. So
old man stuff.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So had shoulder surgery. Of course, my daughter and son were like little rink rats, so they still wanted to come up and skate. So wanted to come up here and at least bring them up here, keep them skating. And then I happened to I couldn't skate because obviously I was in a sling and all that kind of stuff. So I just ended up hanging around the DJ booth. Just listening to music and talking. And
who's DJing like most of the time when you're doing that?
I learned from Jeremy more than anybody.
Okay. Jeremy
he dabbled into roller. He was a roller jam. He DJ'd actually with Tito.
Okay.
He actually DJ'd at some of the 8-wheel no brakes events, so he knew his stuff. You know, this is back in prime. This is like 2007. Like everyone was saying about 8 wheels no brakes. The last year for 8 wheels no brakes was 2018.
Yeah,
was the last year. That's when I really got involved in it. I started going, just being bored. Sit up there listening, asking questions. How do you do that? How do you do this? The music. How you like understanding.
Mixing.
It's more of just being a disc jockey and just hitting button and play, and it takes a lot of work and to understand. There's more. It's a whole nother language, like reading it, because people can read that stuff as like, how do you know that's where the vocals are? How do you know where this is? How do you know? And you just after a while, you just start to learn that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and you have kind of a unique introduction to it, because I don't know of many. I can't. So okay, not that I don't know DJs that I know. I mean, the first place I DJ'd was a rink, but I was young. It wasn't like DJing was going to be like I wasn't doing. I DJ'd at that rink the same way that a kid has any other teenage job. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But you have kind of a unique situation in the sense that although it's the first place that you're DJing, that's where you're learning as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really different kind of path, I think, like than most
in my
DJs.
40s. In my 40s.
Right. And music, I don't care what anybody says, is a young man's game. It's a young person's game.
Yeah.
Okay, like we're not the first ones to know what is cool anymore. We're just not. We like to think we are.
Yeah.
But I fell off, right? That's all there is to it. So, okay. So you're doing that with and now are you like practicing at home, like alone?
No. My only time practicing was here. I didn't have any
equipment.
I didn't have equipment, I didn't have nothing. I just basically watched, and, on a Friday night, they would play music from inside the office there. no turntables, nothing. It would just be mixed matching,
Yeah.
music, not like, how it is now.
Right. So would you say that, like, okay, so it's clear, what kind of drove you into the booth was the fact that, like, you just wanted something to kind of engage in while you're here because you can't skate because of the shoulder.
Yep.
What do you think? What was about it though? Because your shoulder gets better.
Mm-hmm.
What was about it? What was it about that kind of kept you engaged beyond that? Do you think? I mean, some of us don't even know. Some of us just like, I don't know. I just like to do it.
I don't know. It was just like I just felt different when you're doing it. Like, you know what I mean? You like just feel like how you feel when you put your skates on and you're rolling on the floor. Like, once I started doing it, I was like, oh. I was like,
you can catch a vibe, man, for real.
I just loved it. I just loved the giving people something to skate to, having fun, having a good time.
Yeah.
And that's what really drove me.
So,
people.
When's your first like gig or whatever? When do you DJ it first?
My first big thing here was like by accident, really. We had some DJ here was going to do like a big 80s night. This was back in probably 2018.
Yeah.
18. And something happened and he couldn't do it.
Okay.
So then I had to do
you got the tap.
I'm like, oh shit. I'm like 80s, I was born in 1975, so 80s to me, what I skated at the rink, when I was there was not, I couldn't remember a lot of the stuff back then when at the rink. I think I remembered It Takes Two, Spring Love. Back then was more of Poison and Great White, hair bands and Bon Jovi and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, shit. I'm like, I gotta get my stuff together, and I did my homework. I printed out Billboard from 1980 to 89. I printed out every top 100 and just looked at them. I was like, all right, just listen to them and just started adding them, to the computer.
Okay, and are you looking at BPM? Are you trying to find
no? Because Jeremy, he's like, listen, it's like, don't worry about mixing really with 8. Don't worry about that. As like, just worry about picking the right music. Because with DJing, you learn of picking the wrong song at the wrong time. There's a lot of timing in it. There's a lot more than what people think.
Yeah.
Of when it goes behind of when you play a song and when you don't. But that night, I think I knew there was going to be something big when Jeremy called me and he said, it's like there's 600 and some people interested in the event. I'm like, holy shit! That night, I think we had 437 here.
So let me ask you this: I'm not taking anything away from you. Were people? So you were you were replacing someone.
Yeah.
Okay. So were people coming not to say that you?
It wasn't for the DJ. It was just for the 80. It was just for
the
genre.
Okay.
It was for the genres.
Okay. Okay.
Mickey Mouse could have been. I probably been up there. And
No.
80s night. And
No. I was just trying to understand. So okay. So it's the theme that's drawing.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Right. First of all, does that kind of be
that was my big. That was my big oh shit. I was like,
I did kind of nerve wracking.
Yeah, it was nerve wracking. Like I said, 437 people we had here that night. We had people parking down the street. We had I think that one point
437 in this floor.
Yeah,
in this floor.
And I don't know on the floor at the time, but in the building.
437 is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Even if it's only half on the floor, that's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
150 would be a lot on this floor.
Yeah.
And it's not a small rink.
No,
it's not. I mean, it's a decent sized rink. Okay, all right. How'd it go?
It went awesome.
Okay,
people said I did a great job. And
how many skaters were what would you say the percentage? Do you know? Do you remember?
What do you mean? Like all time skaters that came back from it, or just
no, just people that could skate versus brownies.
I don't know. I would say more brown. I would say maybe there was more probably rental people, probably more than what you call. But who knows? Who knows? I really didn't even get a count, but there was a good mixture of people that were coming from the Route 100 rink that was closed down. You just hear that 80s music and then
so now because you're saying there's an 80s night, right? Which is nowadays it's like, you know, that
The 50s.
well, yeah, but I mean, even if you have an '80s night, like it's typical. It's but because the way you're saying is like, okay, we have this '80s night. 437 people are showing up. Was this like the first event of its kind here that kind of like sparked interest? Is that what it was? That was something big. That was like one of our, I don't know how we even put that together, but or what happened when we put it together, but we put it together and kind of, it was probably one of those things where like build it and they will come. Build it when they will come. But there wasn't normally things like that happening here. Okay.
No.
So it struck a chord.
Just late skates. They had typical late skates, every second Saturday, but there was no 400 people here for a late skate.
Okay.
So
all right. So that event goes well,
mm-hmm.
and so like how long before you're DJing rinks on the regular? You say
probably like after COVID, because COVID. Then like you figure 2018, like 2017, I just get started. 2019, 2020, COVID. And then I actually had an idea. I talked to the manager at the rink. I was like, hey, Mindy, I was like, I have this idea. It's like, do you think, Brad and Deb, the owners of the rink, would give me access to the Facebook account, and maybe I could do like a Facebook Live session, on a Friday, Saturday night. So people are out there, they couldn't skate, but they want to hear the sounds of the rink. And they got me approved of that.
And not only that, but also look and be like, oh, skating. You know what I mean? And then next week,
they couldn't see,
but they come back.
At that time, COVID everything was shut down. All the rinks were shut down.
So this is actually during.
Yeah, this is during COVID. So all the rinks were shut down.
Oh.
And I came,
that's cool.
I came to management and say, hey, what about, me doing a Facebook Live session on a Friday, Saturday night from 7 to 10. And I would play the songs from that you would hear at the rink. So I would do that on Friday and Saturday nights for a couple of weeks. Of course, at that time, Facebook would be, muting you because you're playing sounds and all that kind of stuff. And that's how you don't have the rights to music. Yeah. So I still to the day probably get your thing against Facebook has been released. I'm like, yeah, no thanks. From 2020, you're now releasing it.
In the clear now.
I'm in the clear now from 2020. Like, thanks, Facebook.
Wow, that's hilarious.
But I was doing that like every Friday, Saturday night, and actually got to meet a lot of people through Facebook that would chime in for that. They looked forward to that, and and it felt good that the people that couldn't skate,
that's awesome.
At least we're hearing the sounds from the rink. So at least that they can sit there and they can see. Oh, they can just close their eyes and just imagine that they're rolling on the floor here, and then that's what I tried to do.
And if you're in the DJ scene, okay, so for you guys out there that don't DJ, when COVID happened, there was this thing in the culture too, just of DJing in general, right? Where obviously DJs were going to have a tough time with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, because that's what they do. They literally have to. The only environment they work in is one where the more people, the better, right? Mm-hmm. So like that was a strike against you. Obviously, it was all 3 strikes.
Yep.
But I remember in the culture for DJs, like where I think maybe it was A-Track was like the first one that I saw that like started doing like the lives like on the regular, right? Because they were like, the hell with this, dude. We still got to do something here.
Yep.
And I remember too, because I was in like DJ groups at the time, and like it was almost like the debates of like people would be like, you could do whatever, man. Like you could, it's on you to make it happen, and you go do. So and honestly, I don't remember. I mean, maybe there was something happening. I don't remember seeing a rink DJ like live, like I don't know how many there were doing it. I know they were just DJs, right? They were trying to figure out how to monetize themselves online.
I know I was the only one from
this area.
Doing it.
That's cool. All right.
I did it for as long as I could come up here and do it.
So have you been DJing here like that whole time?
Yeah.
Off and on?
Off and on. I've been now through how I progressed through it. It just weird. That is weird to me. It's like how, like I would never imagine if you asked me in 2000, 14, where I was 17, 18. You think the stuff I'd be doing now would I be doing? Like, you're smoking something,
right?
Like, there's no way.
Yeah,
there's no way. But
how do you get connected to Roller Jam? How does that happen? How do you end up with that opportunity?
Well, the first time at Roller Jam I went to was actually, I think, the very first time. Like, I went to 8. Like, I wasn't like when you ask people like the 8 wheels. I think I caught on the 8 wheels a little too late too. By the time I got in with the kids and stuff, my kids were a little too young. My daughter, we took my daughter there one time when she was little, but I think we caught the last 2 years. I think it was awesome. It was so awesome. I think I went the first year, loved it. So I'm definitely going back next year. And then the following year, I think they said it was going to be the last year. And then they said, I never knew that they were doing like a session on Saturday night and they were doing that Roller Jam.
Okay.
I never been there before.
Right.
So a bunch of people was like, oh, we're going to go. Went there. Oh my God.
Right.
I just felt, like, as a skater, like, you know, from going there, there's nothing that you could even say that. And I'm like that time, like the coerce Wendy to go there, and I got her, like, I took her there. I'm like, Wendy, like, you're coming out here, like we gotta go to Roller Jam. Roller Jam. And when I took her there, she freaking just loved it. And that was one of her. Every time she came out here, can we squeeze in Roller Jam? Yeah. Like, she was just hooked on it.
So for those of you guys that don't know, Roller Jam was a rink in Staten Island that just recently closed
in May.
One of the and I kind of like your experience with 8 wheels, no brakes, when you were kind of like just catching the tail end of it.
That
was me with Roller Jam, right? So grateful for the times I got to skate there. So the funny thing about Roller Jam, and the reason I ask about it specifically is, one, I think for a skate DJ, it's a big time venue, right? But two is because, let me back up. So for those of you guys who don't know, Roller Jam, this rink in Staten Island, tiny, small, nightclub vibe.
Small but big vibes.
Huge vibes.
Small floor, big vibes. Big sound.
Huge. Okay.
Yeah.
And look, people either loved it
or hated it.
Right. And the bigger reason I think that most people didn't like it was like
it was different.
Well, it was the floor size. That's the number one thing, right? Especially because, as we were talking about earlier, in this area, and I'm referring to just the skaters that I know around here, right? Not all. There are some that loved it just as much as me, but some that didn't. But they were used to bigger open floors.
Yeah.
A shuffle line, that was not, not that
long,
right. That wasn't that easy. You couldn't pull that off at Roller Jam.
No.
Roller Jam catered to individual style, right? Because there was only that much room for it. You had to navigate and find your own way. I grew up in a tiny, tiny rink. I grew up in a rink where there wasn't somebody teaching us all the same shuffle line. Like, there was no formal stuff, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it was home, like, not home like, oh, this was like my rink, because the vibe was not the same.
Yeah.
But home in the sense that the feeling that I chase when I skate, I found it more there than anywhere.
You felt like at home.
I felt at home in here, right? And the reason I bring up Roller Jam is because it's a whole nother vibe, right? And the music is different. And I think that style of music, not only like it goes with the same theme of the floor size and the amount of people there, where some people either loved it or hated it. And I think that thing also kind of is there with the music, right? Because it was a club. It was a part, roller skates on a club. It was a club like feel. When you walked in there, like, you felt like you were in you felt like you were walking in a club. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. It was crazy. And so, like, I always, one is I want to make sure that it's not my intent to sound like another area is better than any other. It's not what I'm saying here. But I will say that there's just different styles, right?
Yes,
Wherever you go, regional. It's like accents. You know what I mean? Skating styles are like accents.
Yep. That's the beauty about going and visiting other places.
Absolutely.
And that's why, like, as a skater now as a DJ, you know, it's beneficial to go see something different and play something different.
Right.
See something different. It's good for you because, like I said, not to get off on the, you go to this, like I was thinking on the right here, like it's like going to an amusement park when you like a song, like to me finding new music was like almost like yeah, you can go to Dorney Park or Great Adventure and ride that same roller coaster every time you go there. But you always looked forward to someone when they said that you got something new. Like everyone, like you got something new. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I try to just when you come to a session now that I'm playing, that you're gonna get something different and new.
So
like,
we're gonna
we'll get into that.
I want to know because we're about to because I as we were talking, I started kind of thinking about your approach to this and anyway, but but what I was gonna say though is that. Like I
got into road. Like,
we did that, but like what I'm saying is like so, the thing that was that when it comes to like kind of the different style, like for me, like I talk to like I know a lot of people down south now, and they say Northeast, they think of like Jersey and like they think of like PA, and I'm like no, Northeast, New England, right, New York and up, okay, and if you skated Staten Island, right, it's kind of that way. It's that way from there up where I look at it, I think that like especially because there's so much individualistic style, people like that where I came from, it was almost like they skated with a chip on the shoulder, like it was a funky like attitude, like
look at me, like I'm doing my thing,
but like a head nod, almost like a 90s East Coast hip hop, just grimy thing, you know, like, and that's why I love Road Jam because it was like just this big fat beats,
like that,
right?
The speakers are bumping, like
dude, it was
slapping your ear.
Oh
like,
man,
it was,
and so it was just head nod, right? Thinking that so it was like, oh, this is like home right here, right?
Yeah.
So, but what's funny about all this, right, is that it was I found it so interesting because you were talking about your experience with the new coach coming in and how that kind of made you feel a certain type of way. This guy came in and like he like had this other idea, had this other plan, wanted to, you know, probably and had the right mindset, had he was, his heart is in the right place.
Yep.
And it's not to say that he wasn't successful or whatever, but how that kind of like you were like, right? And it's funny because your approach to DJing
the same way as the coach,
right?
Yep.
Now I don't see you going and pissing a bunch of people off. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like at all. But let's talk about that though, because I know that you kind of like me in as far as like how I skate, where it's like I don't get me wrong, I want to pick and take styles from everywhere, and I love getting in and being a part of and and being like in the same groove as a group of people. But I also love and intentionally like willfully trying to make myself different, right?
Yep.
And I see that we have had these conversations.
Yep.
Because that's your approach to this thing. It's probably not that easy to do, like, and introduce, because people like what they like, especially in the skate world, right? Around here, it's not freestyle. I want to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what has that been like, and where have the challenges been? But where have where have the successes been? Because I know that you've had it's been working.
Like I said, when I was learning from Jeremy, watching him, listening to him, like I said, he would go back and forth with at Road Jam and all that kind of stuff. And there's times when the same thing when he would play something like what the hell is he playing? Like, what is this? I'm like,
right.
What is it? Like, what is this?
This isn't going to work. This isn't going to work.
Where do you get this from? So then, you start listening to it, and then you start listening to it. I'm like, oh snap! I was like, that's good.
This isn't 140.
It isn't. Yeah. What's called? So just like as a DJ, the more and more I would get up there in the DJ booth, I would everyone knows me. Like I try to like music is my thing. Like, I'm not saying I'm like a musician or anything like that. I don't do it like that. But to me, when I get up there, I just I just disappear and just try to it's my thing. I love it. I try to bring something new, something different.
Yeah,
it's like a DJ to me. You have to be like everyone's like a different flavor of ice cream.
Yeah.
Like you don't go to an ice cream store and say, oh, they got vanilla, 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 vanilla. Oh, and they have vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be vanilla. I want to be something different.
Mm-hmm.
But as a DJ, you have to like.
And you're not saying that all these other DJs are vanilla.
No, but you have to be a different flavor.
Yeah.
That's what gives a DJ their own personality.
Yeah.
That's where it came with the MadHatter. My personality came like I was kind of quirky, funny. My personality, and that's how my nickname will come out about that. But it was probably hard, at first trying to bring something different.
Did you feel like you were taking a risk?
Yeah, every time I step in the DJ booth, even now, even now, how I'm sure the skating community knows, and like the DJs know that there. Every time a skate DJ goes in the booth, you're taking a risk of getting the eyes turned at you. What is this? What is that? What is this? So, as a DJ, if you're not going to be able to take criticism, don't stand up there.
Right. Whether it's valid or
not,
not,
good or not.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to appease everyone.
No.
Which I don't. My choice of songs now with the evolution of skating, and you've seen it everywhere. Even here, we have a lot of different styles of skating. And to me, a great part for me is try to find music that can keep the middle happy, the outside happy, and everybody else. So you can try to find like an old school beat with a new style, style, and you're still making everyone happy. And to me, digging for those songs is gratifying to me when I find something. Hey, what is this? Never heard this before. I've found plenty of songs that are now being played somewhere else. I've given them off to, hey, what's that? And hearing those songs that I know that I started playing.
It's like digital crate digging for skate DJs. Yeah, man, it's killer.
I love it, and people like all my DJ friends out there will say like, yeah, Shawn's got he's always finding
eclectic
music. I'm always, if you walk around my house, like my kids would come down and say, you're listening to music again, like trying to find music. I would bounce it off. Hey, Aubrey, what do you think about this? What about this? And but yeah, they've been open. Like I've been very grateful of the skaters that have been very open. I'm one of those DJs where like, hey, what do you think about this? Oh, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. Because there was a rough patch in my life where I could have easily, I wasn't perfect. Still, I don't say I am perfect.
Yeah,
no one's perfect. But there was those times where you're getting criticized, and I could have just said, "Screw it." It's like you think you can do it, and then come up here and you do it.
It's the
I could have just walked away, but I listened. I worked to try to get better. And that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. I mean, look, and the reality is that like, and I empathize with DJs because I was a DJ, you know what I mean? Like, I like to do it like just for myself and like bedroom DJ kind of situation. Right. But like, one is that you talked about like, you're not going to please everyone. That is just the guarantee. Right.
Yep.
Now, but you also, that, but at the same time, you approach it in a way, like it's kind of like striving for perfection. You're not going to reach it, but you make really good progress by striving.
Yep.
So your goal is, play a track that this mid floor work can get down to, these shuffle guys on the outside, and and my whole thing too is when here's what I think a lot of rinks, when they don't have because some rinks just they take it for granted in the sense where they don't pay a DJ because all they have they cater to rentals. And what I mean by that is when someone doesn't skate, they don't care what the music is. When they care, it's because they want to hear some song that they like that has no relevance to skating whatsoever.
Yeah.
It does not suit this environment at all. And that's how I know they don't care, because it like the song that they're requesting It has no drums, dude, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not gonna work. It's not, so my thing has always been, so for certain rinks like that, right? And look, and you'll see the crowd they draw. They specialize in birthday parties or what, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's fine if that's what they want to do. But you know, if to me, here's what I really, really believe. Okay. I believe that the DJ, obviously, and this is corny and cliche, and it's been said a million times, but the DJ is a heartbeat of your night, right?
It sets the tone.
It sets the tone. And in the rink world, I think that the DJ, honestly, when you play for skaters, what you're also doing is that you are setting up entertainment for entertainment, and also a thing for the non-skater, right? The person that just came here randomly to be entertained by watching skaters, right? Or be inspired to become a skater based on what they're seeing. So my whole thing is, if you please skaters rinks with good DJs, there's the obvious thing of you're going to draw skaters, you're going to draw crowds, but what you're going to do is you're going to create a situation that is also, it's entertaining for the parent that brought the kid, even if they just sit there. Because look, we all know, we've all skated, we've all been on a line where people just stand on the other side of that wall and just watch us, right? That, to me, serve the skater, right? Like, know what not to play. Know what when it comes to requests, it's not about like, it's about knowing what requests not to take. That is way more important than, you know what I mean?
Have these kids that come up and they ask a song, and I'm like, no. I'm like, that's why I'm so thankful my kids have both like come through the rink, and like,
you know, they'll never do that.
Some of the stuff, like when you come to one of my sessions, there's probably not one song that you'll hear on the radio that you'll hear in this rink. Okay. And I mean, just gave you plenty of my sessions.
Yeah.
I don't
definitely not songs like that are played anymore on the radio.
No.
If they're like not that they're,
I can't stand the radio. I can't not listen to the radio.
But I don't want people to get you wrong in the sense that you don't play
top 40 stuff
or recognizable stuff. You do play recognizable stuff, but you play stuff that isn't.
Skating music is different than, like you said, you listen to what you listen to in your car.
Unless you're a skater.
Yeah.
You gotta skate.
But there is skating music, you know what I mean? There's good skating music, and there's just car music. There's a whole different thing.
Yeah. There's a whole different when thing. I'm belting out Journey, driving down 78.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So I know I was just talking to somebody about this. Like, there are these things that immediately came back to me when I got back into skating. One of the things I always used to do when I was younger skating, and one of the things that came back to me almost immediately when I started skating again, was in the car. When I would hear a song or something, or wherever I was, I would hear something, and my head would immediately go to, ooh, I want to skate to that. Maybe it was something I hadn't heard in this environment yet. And I would visualize myself like, oh, I would skate to it like this, and I would do this. And at these vocals here, I would do that. And this breakdown, I do this. And I get all fired up and excited, Do you, when you hear music, especially something that maybe you haven't heard before, like, and I'm not talking about that when you're actively looking for music to DJ with, but I'm just saying, when you just happen to hear, do you visualize yourself skating to it, or you visualize the crowd skating to it?
Yeah, the first thing when I hear a song, all right, I'm already counting beats,
right?
Like and the DJ is always counting the 4-beat, 8-beat, what you call it. It has a good beat. That's a difference between turning the channel or not. That the beat, or it doesn't matter about the lyrics. It's the beat of the song,
right?
But yeah, I listened to it. I was like, oh, that could work. I'm like, that could work. Or then you start like, all right, I looked at the song, and then you start digging further, and you can find a different remix of it, and then it's a whole different thing. It's the same song, but it's different.
Because I know I know what happens in here for me when I hear a newer song, or maybe a song I haven't heard in a while, or maybe a song that I just never considered. Right? And so I immediately go to how I would like to do this, how I would like to skate to this, right? And I know that it's not going to apply to everybody, right? So as a DJ, you're more looking at it from the perspective of you're visualizing people
moving to
versus yourself.
Yeah. So as soon as I find a song, I'll send it to somebody that will give me a true,
Okay,
trusted. What do you think? Hey, Mark, what do you think about this?
But okay, but if it's a DJ, if you're gonna who's like your go-to DJ to bounce stuff off of?
I have a circle like Jace, Hops, Connor, Tito. Like I'll send stuff to Tito, and we'll back and forth.
And you guys all kind of, not that you're the same because you're not, but
different. Yeah,
but you're more similar to each other than you are to other DJs. Do you see that?
Yeah. Like I said, I would go back and forth like a roller jam, like how I picked up like my style is more like that kind of style, that thumping, bumping, moving. What you call it, like the Tito style. Like I call it like a Tito style. Like Tito has a style like he's not gonna scratch. He doesn't have those voiceovers. He doesn't have the scratches. He just pounding the speakers with those good beats.
It's funky.
It's funky. And it works. And it's like that's what I try to imitate. If you want to try it, you can't duplicate it, but you try to.
But you do your own thing. I do
my own thing with it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's with anything, man. We all have to be inspired. We all got to learn this stuff somewhere, But I said to you, and I've said to other people, okay, that when Roller Jam closed, I was so grateful that because you could tell that you won, and I'm sure it's also what got you excited just as a DJ, like that kind of vibe, right? And I was so grateful that, man, because Roller Jam's gone, but I know I could go to a Hatter session, I could go to this, and I can clearly, obviously, it's not Roller Jam, but it's not but I could get
a little bit taste of it,
because I know that some of that flavor, that funk, that chip on my shoulder, kind of it's grimy to me, dude. This is I love big fat funky beats. Honestly, I don't care. I mean, basically almost all of early hip hop for the longest time and today it's a Clyde Stubblefield drum beat. It's a James Brown drum beat that everything's sampled from. All that stuff that you love is one drummer. You know what I mean? And that stuff works, man.
I love, like I said, I'm all over the place when you see me. I'm not just some DJs you just know what kind of genre they kind of stick to. With myself, I'm all over the place, all JB, R&B, hip hop, house, some freestyle stuff, some old school stuff. That's what I just love it, and that's what I soaked in from Roller. That's what I soaked in from Roller Jam, and going to different rinks and hearing different DJs, and say, hey, I wonder if this would work here, and then we have a great like you say about the young kids, they're when we were down at Sk8LikeYou for Ray's event in April,
47, that's the other one you do.
DJ down there, Rob Cosmo's those you got a lot of those a lot of kids up there from the Lehigh Valley, and they're skating to the music that Tito was playing. I'm like yeah, because we've been exposing them to that kind of music for a while now, and that's what I love about going to other rinks and hearing and seeing different stuff, and you try to bring it in and give them a little taste of, maybe they're 16 and they can't go to Roller Jam because you have to be 21 and older, but you can give them a little taste of it. Oh, this is what I can bring it back. You bring it back and see if it works. But
I love too though that it makes sense though that they get down to it, because I would see Greg Fuller at Roller Jam, right? And because Greg's another guy, man, where he just can go anywhere and do anything on skates, man.
Roller Jam made you a better skater, I think.
Well, dude,
that's where always people say, when you went there, there was no some of these people you see are all right, I gotta step here. Roller Jam, you didn't know where you were gonna be from one lap to the next. You were all over the place.
Yo,
made you so much better.
It was this is how, for those of you guys that never experienced Roller Jam, this is to give you an idea. If Ray would shoot a video of me, he could basically stand in the middle of the floor and just turn around,
just go in a circle,
because and I was never far, right? and it is all like duck, dodge, dive, dip.
Oh yeah,
through the whole thing, man. It's dodgeball,
bob and weave.
Yeah, but it's funky, dude.
Fun.
It's funky. Like I love that, man. I'm not I like to me, it's like I don't look at it like, oh man, that person was in my way.
There's too many people on the floor. I can't skate.
My thing was like, okay, this person just appears in front of me. Now I know that happens in every rink, but trust me when I tell you, it happens almost every lap at Roller Jam, right?
Every lap.
Because you got JB, you got everything.
You got people just spinning and dancing on the floor, like all over the place,
just appearing,
doing their thing,
like
like a ghost. Like he's here, and 1 minute he's here, like holy shit, like where'd he come from?
And but to me, like the way I looked at it, and like I said, probably this was because I was brought up this way. Like I skated in a small rink, having to get around kids and all the time and other people. But like my thing was, I was like, whatever I'm doing right here, like there's nothing better than something happening, like where someone just appears in front of you or whatever it is, right? And you have to, quickly navigate around that and never lose your step, never lose, like it didn't interrupt what I was doing. It enhanced it. Like I love that feeling.
That was the hard part of when I got the opportunity to play there. You talk about like playing here at Whitehall, on a Saturday night versus playing at Road Jam. Wait, you want to talk about like totally different things? You couldn't do this. I couldn't play the stuff that I was playing here. It's a whole different thing. It's a whole.
You're not catering to shuffle lines there.
No. You were just. It was. I mean, you had a mixture of the same thing, but more like it was more like the club type of house beats and that that. You still had the good group of the shuffle skaters like Rob come on, Jack and all of them, and the people that would come.
But they were
bobbing when they didn't care. As long as they were music, they were skating. They didn't care.
Yeah, man,
they were there all the time.
Shout out Rob, shout out Jackie, and all them. Oh, for real.
Like I love going to Roller Jam, and 2 years ago, I just posted on my Facebook thing today. It was my first time. Tito gave me a shot. I was there at the rink on a Saturday night. And I would always go back and forth, like, oh, I would love to play, And he's like, do you have your stuff with you? I'm like, yeah. He's like, go get your stuff.
Oh man.
So I almost crap myself, go up there. And he goes up there, and I go up there and I play, and he like walks away, and like I'm up there by myself. I'm at the Roll Jam, playing by myself. I'm like, okay, am I
Can
doing
I ask
good?
you real quick?
Yeah.
Do you always have your stuff, or do you just happen to have your stuff that night?
I always have my stuff with me. You never
Right
know.
Right answer.
You never know.
Right answer.
So I played for about 30, 40 minutes at Roller Jam. I was like,
I've arrived.
Oh my god! I was like, oh my god! I played at Roller Jam, because as a DJ in this area, if you ever got to play there, that had to be like the shiznit of places to play there, and that's a hard place to keep the floor moving if you're not doing the right thing.
Right.
Were
you there? Were you there last night?
Yeah, it was there.
That's right.
Yeah,
okay.
we were there.
Keep going. I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, we were there.
Ask something, but keep going.
But then a year later, we like in my DJ progress, starting to make a name for myself or a sound for myself. I wasn't in this to make a name for myself.
Right.
I do this because this is my like someone's hunting or golf or fishing. I don't care how much I'm getting paid. It's not the first thing, because I always told people, once I start worrying about thinking about more of a job, I won't do it no more.
Yeah,
because I come here to do it to get away from my real life stuff,
and it's a passion.
And I come here to try to give the people that walk through the door an escape from their crappy lives or their personal problems, and that's my job. I'm a doctor of music. I come here to heal hearts and make the feet going, but I got an opportunity to Ray gave me a shot. That was like, besides playing at Roller Jam, that half hour, trying to making a name for myself. Ray gave me the opportunity to play at his event 2 years ago at the rink with DJ Retic on that Sunday night at the rink.
I like him too.
Got an opportunity to play there.
Shout out Retic.
That was a big opportunity. That was my biggest opportunity.
It was an event.
A big event. That was my first time national event. And I met some great people through there. I was already friends with Wendy and all that because I met Wendy when you talked to Ray about when Wendy first came out here. It's a Sunset. I think that was Wendy's first time when she came here. I was DJing here that night when she was here with Juicy. And Wendy loves coming out here. She loves this whole vibe and the whole PA Jersey shuffle kind of thing. She just same thing. Like she like coming out here, something different than going to somewhere that she doesn't get to see. But I met Daniel Carlson from Colorado.
Divine LEDs.
Yep, Divine. Met him at that event, and I think I just like he posted like a remark from the event because he was there that Sunday night with Wendy. He was with them, and I reached out to him and said, "Hey, just wanted to see how you enjoyed the session because it was the Sunday night." He's like, "Oh, I loved it." Blah blah blah, and we started going back and forth. And this was in April, May, something like that, and going back and forth. And he's like, "Hey, would you be interested about doing an event out here?" I'm like, "Where?" In Colorado. Like, and then 4 months later, I'm flying out to Colorado,
Right?
And I'm out now. I'm out in Colorado, freaking doing a 2-day event.
Yeah.
Doing that.
How different was that?
It was way different. It's my first time ever doing something like that, like out of state. It's kind of hard as a DJ to come from to try to bring like your kind of vibe to like another state, and maybe in their state, in their rink is totally different. It's like going from a shuffle thing going to a GB rink, and you're expected to play your stuff.
Especially if you're not known there already.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it's got
that was a big like a learning curve. I got in the first night, nerves and all that kind of stuff, and after the first night, people came up to me that know my music. Said, "Shawn, that wasn't you. That we want you to be you. Like
Okay.
that's why
So you were catering.
I was trying to play something different. Being something that maybe I wasn't really. There was a lot of the Southern skaters that I knew they weren't gonna like the kind of stuff that you or I like from this area.
Yeah.
But I tried to mix it in there. And then they said, it's like no Saturday.
Not all Southern skaters.
No.
And we're not saying we don't like that stuff. We're saying that we also like something else.
Yeah.
And not saying that you don't also like someone else.
No.
Whatever I have to say to make everybody happy, I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to make anyone bad.
But that was a big, it's a big learning adjustment. And Saturday I just played myself. I just played who I was, and that's why I did it. And then I came. I think in that same year I went to Pittsburgh last year was my first time event, and that's when Tito approached me, and said, I want you to do roll jam with me.
Right, and then you started doing it on the regular.
Yeah, that was like so. I went from Ray's event to Colorado, and then that was April was Ray's event. Then in August was Colorado, and then 2 weeks later I'm in roll jam. And then when I get back from Colorado, Tito sends me the flyer, and it's Jackie's freaking birthday. I'm like, come on, man! It's like I'm doing roll jam, and it's Jackie's birthday party. Now I'm like, that's some pressure.
Yeah.
But
that's
I
awesome.
loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Ray will tell you because I knew it wasn't your first time I knew that you had like that night where Tito said, "Hey, grab your stuff," and then abandoned you.
yeah. But Tito went down to the bar.
Right. But I remember because I would go out to roll jam with Ray, and I remember, dude, he'll tell you about this. I'm on, and I was telling him, I'm so happy for Shawn. Like, I'm so happy for him because I knew what it meant to you. Yeah. I knew you were stoked about it, man. And I just anytime that we were out there that you were going to be, I would always be like, oh, dude. And we would talk, I mean, not just me, but he would say it too, but we would talk about how we were just happy for you, dude. Yeah. Like, we were happy that you were doing what you loved in a place that you loved, how you loved doing it, all that kind of stuff. It was dope. And on the other end of that, you know, there was my own personal like devastation when roller and look, please, people, I know that like I'm not like a Roller Jam original or anything like that. I don't try and pace myself or make myself come across that way.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved what I got to experience there in the short time that I did. I'm so grateful for it. It became my favorite rink from returning to skating. But so it sucked to know that it was going to be gone.
It's horrible.
But on the other end of that thing, where I remember saying to Ray, and he'll tell you this, I feel so bad for Shawn. He just got in there, and so
But at least I can say I was there.
You were
there multiple times. I played there multiple times.
But it must have been tough to watch that happen.
It was rough. It was like when you feel like you're like I don't know if there was anything higher than that really.
Mm-hmm.
And when that top of the mountain is gone, like, where do people that are all on the top? Where do they stand? Like, where do you go? Where do you go? Like, where do you go? I'm like, all right, you got to start. You got to go something. You got to do something.
I mean, among skaters, I mean, here's the cool. See, here's the thing. Do you know how many of like those like skaters and I'm not trying to make like these definitive like, oh, this is this kind of skater, that kind of like whatever, but like, you know, how many people like, let's say like fat, like speed skating, fast shuffle line, like Southern people loved Roller Jam. They came they would come up just for Roller Jam. They would come up for an event here and then drive however long to go to Roller Jam.
Yep.
Right. Like Roller Jam meant something to a lot of people. It was a pinnacle, like you're saying.
Yeah, Roller Jam was one of those. Even if you went there once, you could say that you were there. You were there. Just like you say that you were there, and then
it's the kind of conversation where you have with somebody, and then you ask like, oh, because like, especially if it's a skater that you know, like travels and everything. Oh, did you ever do Roller Jam? They're not. They say no. I'm like, oh, yeah. I have this my oh
yeah, like
you never got to do
and you can describe it as much as you can. Like you can try to explain it.
It's like an acid
trip. And it's
you're not gonna
it's so hard. Like you can explain it as much as you can about like I can just sit there, I can stand in the middle of the floor, close my eyes, and I can feel the speakers,
the thump,
thumping. What was it? Like you would go out there and your ears would ring.
It was like leaving a nightclub.
Oh yeah!
Every time I went, it was like
so much fun.
Left the nightclub.
It was so much fun.
And the funny thing is like we talk about like the thump and the blah blah blah, blah. Like we're not saying it was like a ravish kind of like Jersey Shore thing. It wasn't.
No,
it was. It was it seemed like this hip hop funk jazz infused like house. Right?
Yep.
Big drums, right? And not just because of the sound system, which was incredible. But the music was big, funky drums. Just like not fat.
There's no other that I can't. Stuff you heard in Roller Jam, you would not hear at any other rink. And that's why a lot of people would go there, because you would hear stuff that you would never hear. You would give an opportunity, like you said, to be somebody different that you could be here. Or skate on the floor, or even be a DJ like myself. I can go there. I can be something different.
And here's what's incredible about Roller Jam.
Roller Jam gave you that opportunity to do that. You
could take a set from Roller Jam, okay? You could take all those people that loved it, right? Every person that has ever really loved Roller Jam since the day it opened till the day it closed. You could take them all to another rink. Take the best set ever, right? Music set. Put another rink, and it will still not be the same.
No,
ever.
No,
like
I always said, like I always said, like when I was going to when I went to Roller Jam, and talking with Tito, and I always said, like, you try to listen for songs, and you try to imitate it, but you just can't. You just can't. And just so you can, the same song will not sound the same in here.
No.
That's been said, and it's true. Like you cannot play. It just sounds different. It just feels different. Between the vibes that the sound system was giving off, what the vibes that everybody's body was giving off, it's a whole different thing. Like you can get a vibe off of you jamming out in the middle of the floor, like, oh shit, like he's getting down, like and it makes you want to get down, and that's what the beauty of Roll Jam, like it was contagious. Like you see someone doing that, like
it's infectious.
Shit, like, I could do that. Like I'm moving like that now.
Yeah, and the thing is like the other thing, it kind of like forced you to, because like whatever, like for a lot of people, even myself, whatever like you did in another rink, a lot of times it couldn't always translate because it was so tight and you were moving around. So like you were more prone to catch that bug from somebody else, right? Because it's like, oh, that can be done in here and whatever. But the reason I was asking you about, I don't know why I forgot that I didn't forget that you were there last night, but because it's kind of the theme of everything that we're talking about now was when, oh God, I can't remember his name. The guy that owned it. Joe. First off, that impassioned speech that he gave at the end. You should have heard
him on Saturday. We were at Sk847 this past weekend when you guys were in Ohio.
Okay.
It was a Roll Jam kind of like style, first Saturday kind of thing, and Joe was there, and if you just close your eye, right. You're gonna get into it. Was like it was
So, but I'm not gonna like. The only thing I want to say about it was because I think it definitively kind of like. It just makes sense based on this whole conversation, was the thing that stood out to me. And then he said a bunch of really heartfelt things. He was clearly, sad and but the thing that stuck out to me that I remembered was he said, when we started doing this, people told us nobody's going to skate to this kind of music. People don't like want to do that. Right. Like, and even DJs were telling him, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And he was like, this is going to work. We're going to bring something like maybe, something different. And he believed in it so much, you know what I mean? And where the whole world told him that's not going to work. And it didn't just work. It was a shining success till the end. And it wasn't a lack of business that drove them out of there.
It was just shady business. It was, the typical shady kind of business, bad business on the owners, not Joe's,
the property owner,
the property owner's thing. But he had that. You can hear the passion that he had for that place when he gave that speech, and you heard it on Saturday when he was there. It was like all over again. But that's what you need in the business. You need someone behind working the rink that's passionate about it. You need DJs that are passionate about it, because again, that passion is contagious. You have someone that's in the DJ booth that loves what they're doing, it's gonna flow out into the floor. You have someone that's doesn't matter, in the skate room, the snack bar, it's gonna go forward. And that's what I try to. That's my biggest thing is just when I'm up there, I try to just forget about everything and have a freaking good time.
Well, look, as in a lot of things, there are things that are, you have, and I don't care what it is, right? Whether it's DJing, whether it's owning a certain type of rink or whatever, it doesn't matter. Even outside of that world, like where there could be like maybe like one thing in whatever industry you're talking about that kind of like is sitting at the top of the hill, right? And then everyone's kind of trying to replicate, right? No one ever really can, right? Like, but then what happens is, because the real trick is, it's not trying to come out and duplicate what this success is, right? Because a lot of times what made that successful was that it was inspired out of someone's own passion, right?
Yep.
Just like you're talking about. But then someone comes around that is inspired by it, but says, I want to do it like this. I want to be different. I want to offer something different. Not saying it's better. I just want to, and so then all of a sudden, those types of people start new
branches, or the branches,
trends, and
like a branch.
Absolutely.
A branch. You have the main branch, and you venture off into something else.
Look, even with skaters, and this isn't to say that anyone is like that. that I have some authority on who's good and who's not. But what drives me, what speaks to me, is seeing difference, right? Is seeing unique, is seeing individuality, right?
Yep.
And so that to me is attractive, and that to me is inspiring, and it's the same thing with what you're doing, you know, because at the end of the day, I mean, like, you're willfully saying, you're not saying like, oh, everything else sucks. You're saying, no, all of this is good, but like, we're
gonna mix it up.
We're gonna try something a little different over here.
Yep.
You know, and like, and yeah, that's it. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, what would you say? What do you want to see? What do you want to see happen as far as like the DJ world goes for skaters?
Just keep pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't get complacent. Don't get like playing the same stuff, like repetitive
Playlist, like
the playlist all the time. Try to find new music. Try to bounce off this gear. Like, to me, like I think I, as a DJ, like in the area, like between me, Connor, Jace, like we're skaters too. So we kind of like have that connection too. So it's got that from the DJ booth to the skate floor, because you kind of have that. That's a good connection to have. And then you have DJs that are just skate DJs that really don't skate.
Yeah.
So there's that, you know, where you get the connection from the skaters. Hey, what do you like? What didn't you like? You know, what do you think about this? But just keep your people happy. No matter who's coming to your rinks, you know, just keep them happy, keep them rolling. Like, I want to keep rinks full and happy. You know what I mean? Just do your thing. But just be you. You know, just like skate like you, be like you, the DJ. You know, like DJ like you. Yeah. You know, be yourself. That's really. I'm just thankful for the opportunities that I've gotten, the people that have helped me. Like I said, I could have walked away when I was getting criticism, and you know, I knew I wasn't, you know, out on par of what they needed and what they wanted. I could have said, I'm done. But you know, DJing too, at that time in my life, I was going through a bad part of my life where I was glad that I had this skating, the DJing in general, that kept me hanging on. It gave me something to like hang on to, and I'm so grateful that I've had this part of my life, because I really don't know where I would be if I didn't hold on to it. You know what I mean? Like, people always say, like, skating has done this for me, and I'm so glad that I had this, and I used it to help me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because I was going through a rough time, you know, mentally. There's some stuff that was going on. I was, but I just used it. Yeah. Like I said, I still to the day go in there, and everything just disappears when I get behind the laptop and see the floor and see people on my friends and stuff. And I'm just grateful for, you know, all the skaters, the support. You know, people got traveling all over the place. People travel 2 hours to come to a session here because they know I'm playing here, or they'll, you know, go to a late skate because of where I'm at, supporting me, buying T-shirts, and, you know, sharing my flyers and all that kind of stuff. That's I never imagined, you know, doing where I'm at today, where I started. No, I have no ego. And then, I mean, you're not gonna get no ego with me. Yeah. You know, I'm not like, oh, I'm DJ MadHatter. I'm, you know, I'm not like that. I'm not like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're like me in the sense where, like, well, I kind of like, I relate to being like an egomaniac with an inferiority complex, where it's like, you know, I have difficulty like taking the compliments and the support and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy. Like, I don't know why. It's probably some crap from my childhood. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
But no, man. I mean, it is amazing feeling though to like kind of go, especially when you go and you like intentionally go do your thing, and people embrace it and support it. You know what I mean? It there's not a lot of feelings like that, man.
No, it's just great to have the support from the skaters, from the rink owners, give me an opportunity. You know, there could be DJs that I'm not gonna share nothing with him. I'm not gonna help him. The DJ world and the skaters are, you know, around here are tight, you know, tight group. You need something or advice or something like that. I know I could call someone and know that they're gonna try to help me out. Or we're not pushing no one down or competing like that. I'm not like, even when I'm DJing with somebody, I'm not competing against Hobbs or Champs or Tito. I'm going up there. I'm just going to be me. People expect to just be me, and people want to see Tito be Tito. Don't be someone different, you know. And that's what I do.
Yeah,
like,
man.
You know, and that's what I do. I'm just thankful for the opportunities that I've gotten, the friendships that I've made through the skating community is huge. Maybe I'll get more friends after seeing this. I don't know. Maybe I'll have less. Maybe I'll have less. I don't know. I don't know. But
that would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous.
I just said, and just in general skating, I just want to keep my dream for skating is like to have my kids come here.
Yeah.
And have the dream. Like, you want to keep that alive because, you know, once a rink closes, usually another one doesn't open up.
Yeah, man.
So if you keep the place happy, like I said before, I think the biggest thing where people, like for skating for me, is to try to keep the people passionate about skating. Because as the kids get older, like I've seen a lot of kids coming here and they're older now. Like my daughter, you know, she started when she was 5-6 years old. She's getting ready to go to college. So you see these kids that are either going to stray off, they're going to lose the passion for it. They're going to go to school, work, stuff like that. You just try to keep that fire for skating alive and don't lose the passion for it, so you keep them coming back. It's real easy for someone to, you know, you get down to what you call it, and you
start adulting.
You lose a passion for it. You lose a passion for it, and you just try to just keep them here.
Well, I'm so glad that you have it, like that you have that passion yourself, because for me, I'm like, it's so funny, man. Like, as somebody that DJ'd for years, like I'm glad that there are skaters that like that love this half of it, because I know, like me, like I would be up there looking out here being like, I want to be out there. Like I was saying to somebody, I'd like play crappy music just out of resentment. If you're like, I'm not having fun, then no one's having fun, kind of thing. No, but then there are these people like you that, and it doesn't make you less of a skater or whatever. Like, it just means that, you know, you have the same passion, right, for this overall thing that we do, but you want to give to it in this way, and this is the thing that fires you up. You know what I mean? So it like, I don't know, man. I think you're doing a great job. I can't wait to see what happens. You know, I think it's all.
And I just take it, you know, session by session. I wing. You know, I mean, I say it all the time. I come into every session, I just wing it. You know,
that's what we're doing. We're doing
it right now. You know, just come in there and you start playing music, and I don't know where you're going to end up, where I'm going to go. You know, what I play is depending on who's on the floor.
Yeah, man.
And just go from there.
All right, man. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up here, man. We're pushing almost 2 hours.
That's awesome.
This was great, man. I appreciate you doing it, man. Is there anything you wanted to say? Anything you want to announce? Anything you want to let people know about?
I'm just, you know, thankful for all the people out there that have given me advice, help me out to get me to where I am. I'll never stop asking for help, because you're never, and I'll never, if I can help somebody, I will. I've always, people like upcoming DJs, they want to get a shot. I'm always the first one to say, hey, come with the Whitehall. because I was given the opportunity, so I try to give it back that way.
Unless you're a train wreck, and then
I'm sure I was a
everybody is in the beginning.
I'm sure I was a freaking train wreck, but I mean, from all the skaters out there, all my friends, family, the rinks, Skate 47, Wilkes-Barre, Philly, the rink, Colorado, Roller City, Roller Jam, Tito, everyone out there that I've asked for help, Ray, for giving me a shot on, I feel like one of my friends said, like, if I had to categorize you as a DJ, it's like, I give you almost like a rock, like you're like that Rocky kind of like the thing that guy that had the scrapping with the big one, and then you're finally gonna get your shot. You work your way, and you'll get your shot.
Right. You're the rag,
Adrian,
the misfit, the rag tag. I
shouldn't be there. Like, I shouldn't be there.
But you should
on the stage. But
you should be.
Yeah.
You should be.
But I'm just trying to keep the passion. I had the passion, and I try to show that every session. And I hope you guys and the people that come to my sessions, I hope you enjoy what I do and try to bring. I'm very thankful for every single one of you.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, couldn't say it better myself. So, yeah, man. Well, all right. Appreciate that. Not much else I have to say, man. So, appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Shawn.
I appreciate it.
A lot of fun, man.
It was awesome. Time, man. It was awesome. Appreciate it.
Well, and we're gonna skate.
I got DJ.
Yeah, and I'm gonna skate.
Awesome.
Peace.